Enemies close,
Rhodri.
Is there anything that Lionel Messi is better than you at?
It's opinions. I respect your opinions. Maybe in your opinion, Messi is better than me, but in my mind, I'm better than him.
I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Told her if it's all me, everything is on me. Gon' back it up. Matter what? Told you I'ma do me. Why you hating on me? It's not adding up. I do roll like a Mack truck. Country heart, I might cop a farm and go act up. Like scars, I was cold hearted, now I'm back up. Keep it real, I do this once a month. I don't rap much. I just hit the money and go stack up. Only buy cards and get tatted up. All that other bull, it don't matter much. You only climb me, I put the ladders up. No fault, I done doubled up on the workload. I think I fell in love with the bankroll. Pray up, get money, then we lay low. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Add it up,
Yes, guys, I'm Si. Welcome to Ace Podcast Nation, the home of Rhodri Giggs on football. Rodders will be over in just a second. Let me know if you can hear me this week, because the last week, the first couple of minutes, I was silent as I rabbited on about all the plugs and sponsors and stuff. Of course, you can check out the audio versions of this show and all the other content coming your way on the channel at the Sports Social Podcast Network. But of course, we watch it on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all the rest of it. We got good stuff coming our way. We've got rappers, we've got footballers, we've got all sorts of content. Hopefully a documentary by the end of this year as well. Lots and lots of stuff to go, including the big debate. Last week was on cyclists. This week, we got another hot topic, much more hard-hitting. The one we just did on Monday for the Patreons, which will be out in a couple of weeks, is the second episode of Series 2, I think. And it's entitled, Are We Being Manipulated by the Media? So, yeah, it's a really interesting series. We tackle all sorts of subjects, from sex education to capital punishment to cyclists. Bit of fun, but also some hard-hitting stuff as well. We try and look at it from all angles, as it were. As we wait for Rhodri, just going to do some of the housekeeping and stuff. First and foremost, big shout out to Violent Money, because as always, they support the channel. Check them out. You can use the code ACE Nation at their website. They've got all sorts of cool training equipment and stuff like that if you're into fighting and martial arts. But also they've got some casual wear as well, some nice stuff, including a hat like this. Use the code ACE Nation, get a code, 20% off, I think it is. But our main sponsor at the moment is Four Sigmatic Coffee. Four Sigmatic is a sciencey way of saying really good for you. They turned the planet's most astounding nutrient-dense ingredients into things you will love every single day. The purpose of Four Sigmatic is simple. It helps people to achieve elevated wellness with the world's most nutrient-dense ingredients. They started back in the happiest country in the world, Finland. Their founders, Finnish grandparents, brewed mushrooms when they couldn't get coffee in World War II due to a shortage. But it turns out organic coffee plus functional mushrooms like chaga is delicious, and it kickstarts your day every day. Ever since they've searched for the most exhaustively studied, the best of the best Four Sigmatic ingredients to add to their daily go-tos for focus, clarity, energy, balance, and to de-stress. It is absolute top quality stuff. And I have to say, as I've said many times with sponsors for this channel, I will only push products that I have tried myself, enjoyed myself, and I see a benefit for. I won't just shill you any old stuff. And Four Sigmatic Coffee is the real deal. No BS, as it were. Use the code ACE Nation. Get yourself a nice little discount either on subscriptions or one-off purchases. I use the Think brand, which is made with the chaga mushrooms, lion's mane extract, and so, something else I've forgotten what it is. But I drink one cup a day around 10 o'clock when I'm starting to flag, been up about 5 hours, starting to feel a bit tired. One of them, clear as a whistle for the rest of the day. Really good stuff. Cannot recommend it enough. Supporting our sponsors helps us a lot. So please do check it out. Have a look. I know times are hard. I know that we're all struggling with the old energy crisis and all the rest of it. Don't want to talk about that stuff now. But if you can support these stuff, really helps us out, helps keep the channel going. And of course, lastly, if you want to become a member, you can become a member on YouTube. And you can also sign up to patreon.com for exclusive content on Patreon, including you get the big debate live every Monday, which comes out weeks later on YouTube for free. But you can get involved in the debate yourself there in the conversation, of course. It's a lot of fun with our members as we chat and we have a good old debate on these subjects. We do not always agree, as we found out last week when we talked on this very show. Me and Rhodri did not agree. People in the comments did not agree with Rhodri's thoughts on it, but we're all entitled to an opinion, and that's what we like. One thing you can say about this channel, but also particularly this show, I brand this show as the most honest podcast or honest football show in the game. I think it is. Me and Rhodri will never shy away from any subject, and we'll always give an honest opinion. Whether people agree with it or not, we'll give our opinions, and we always want to hear your opinions. Rhodri will be in shortly. If you've got any questions, get them in. I'm happy to answer them just as we're waiting for Rodders to get in now. Super 6 updates. As you all know, we're doing a Super 6 prediction charity league, raising some money for the good old charity. And this week, Will's dad came top of the table with 12 points. And after a couple of good weeks, Paul Cartwright is now top for the season, knocked off Craig Sullivan. Oh, would you believe it? He's Paul Cartwright's 309 points. Rhodri did not have a great week. He only scored 4, while I scored a whopping 11 points to finish joint second overall. And I extended my lead to 38 points over Rhodri. The next round is Saturday, 3 p.m. Get involved. We've got a new project, me and myself and Will, got a new project and channel coming soon. So keep your eyes out for that. Because we'll be dropping some hints and stuff, but it's going to be very, 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 very. It's going to be football related, charity related. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. New project, but Ace Podcast Nation is not going anywhere. We have Rhodri Giggs and football every week. We also have the big debate, as well as other shows. My Stories will be coming back soon with some all new guests, some familiar faces as well for their part 2s. So it's all good. So just as we wait for Rhodri, if you've got any questions, obviously get them in. I'm going to talk a little bit about Cardiff City at the moment, because I've seen a lot of people, I've spoken to a lot of people who are kind of very negative and stuff. And I get it. It's difficult to be positive. We missed another penalty against Hull. But that's down to the manager, the coaching staff. Maybe not the manager because he's only just come in. The coaching staff, people who have been there, have got to say, look, he's missed a couple. Maybe let's have someone else on penalties. But I commend Robinson for wanting to take it and to having, the balls to take it, even though he's missed a couple. But come on, there's other guys there who can take the pressure off him a little bit. We can't afford sentimentality at the moment, because make no mistake, Cardiff are in big danger of going down. I see we've been linked again with Connor Wickham. To me, I think it's risk-free. Like, he's a free transfer. I wouldn't imagine he's on massive money playing at the level he's at. He knows the league. He's fit. He's experienced. And on his day, he's a good footballer who can score goals. If it doesn't work out, at the moment, we're going down anyway, because we cannot score for toffee. So to me, you got to get him in. You got to. This is a no-brainer. Goalkeeping coach Graham Stack has left the football club. I'm assuming that the new manager will bring in his own man if he hasn't already. The goalkeeping thing's been a weird one. They got rid of Andy Dibble, and then it's all been a bit of a shambles on that side of things. Just as we're kind of talking about football, like before I get on to Cardiff and the midfield and stuff, I wanted to give a shout out to ex-Wales and Cardiff winger Jason Bowen has been diagnosed with motor neuron disease. Massive shout out to Jason. There's a GoFundMe page, which I'll try and find a link to at the moment in a minute to drop in the comments if you want to help Jason with the treatment and stuff like that. It's a horrible disease if you know anything about it. So shout out to him, obviously representing Wales, Swansea, Birmingham, Reading, Cardiff, Newport. Had a fantastic 18-year career by all accounts, an absolutely lovely guy. A lot of love for him. He was one of my favourite players back in the day. So skillful. So shout out to him. Let's get behind him and support him and stuff. I will try and find that GoFundMe page. If anyone can't find it before me while I'm obviously doing the show, please drop it in the comments on Facebook, Twitter, or whatever, and I'll give it a share and whatever. We can hopefully help him out, help his family out, as the football world always does, comes together. Also a shout out, of course, and prayers to all the people in Syria and Turkey who've been affected by the earthquakes. It's terrible to see. I know there's been, a couple of footballers. I think there was a goalkeeper who died who plays in the Turkish second division, and A.C.E, who used to play for Chelsea, obviously was involved, got some injuries. But at the end of the day, with things like that, it doesn't matter if they're footballers or not. There's human beings affected by a terrible thing. So, of course, let's get support and pray for those people. Back with the football and back with Cardiff specifically. Cardiff have got big problems. And whilst the problem is we can't score goals, I think the problem is a bit deeper than that. Reece, you mentioned midfield there. It needs a lot of work. You say Rolls isn't good enough there. Rolls needs legs around him. If he's gonna play, if Rolls is gonna play, he's got to have legs around him. And I question sometimes the partnerships that they put together in the middle of midfield. They don't seem to always make sense to me. And look, to a certain degree, you've got to trust the manager. You've brought this manager in. You've got to give him time. He's only been there, a week or so. It's going to take time for him to get his message across to the players and get the players playing how he wants. But we haven't got time, unfortunately. We just haven't got time. I quite liked the formation he played. With Sawyers and Wintle and Ojo just behind Robinson, O'Dowd on the one wing and Philogene on the other. I don't mind that. I think that's pretty good. I like McGuinness and Kipper at the back. I felt sorry for Simpson at left back. I felt like he was left a bit exposed, which was possibly a bit unfair for him. But that you look at that bench, obviously you've got the new boy Cabba. We'll have to wait and see how he develops. I mean, people who were at the game will be able to tell me, how was Cabba when he came on for Robinson in the second half? Did he look like he was going to be anything? Did he look decent? Obviously, he scored a few goals elsewhere. Mark Harris came on at 90 minutes. Not sure what he was really going to do there. I agree. I don't think Joe Rolls is probably mobile enough these days. And I think if you were going to play Joe Rolls, you have to play him as a CDM with two other younger midfielders around him. And it doesn't look like that's the formation the manager's going to play from the way he's set up. But look, there's no beating around the bush. Cardiff is struggling. Now, if he's going to play this kind of 4-4-1-1, Connor Wickham is the perfect signing, because I think, he can hold the ball up. He hasn't got the pace to get in behind, of course, but he can hold the ball up for runners to go in behind. And I think that's what you need. I look at the fixtures Saturday. Obviously, Cardiff are home to Middlesbrough, which is a special day for me, obviously, because of Andy and stuff. I enjoy it. But I worry. Middlesbrough, I've been so impressed by Michael Carrick's work, the way they're playing. I could see it being a heavy defeat. It's interesting, mate, boys and girls. It's interesting, to say the least. I think Cardiff are going down, but I'm trying to think positive. Reese says, I did read that we were asking 700 grand for Mark Harris in January. His contract's up in the summer. It's absolute pointless keeping him. I think he's not good enough. Isaac Davis is ahead of him. Yeah, Isaac Davis should should be ahead of him. I don't know. Is Isaac Davis fully fit? Because he came on, I think, in the cup game, didn't he? And then doesn't seem to have played a great deal since. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think he's played a great deal since. And he's the one I think everyone's excited by. He seems to give everyone a lift. He wasn't on the bench against Hull. It might take him a bit of time to get fit and stuff. So we have to wait. But we'll see now. Just give Rhodri a quick text. See, I reckon, if I'm guessing, and I'm going to say this now, I'm guessing he's fallen asleep, okay? But we'll see now. But yeah, guys, let me know. Borough fans, let me know what you think. Because how has Michael Carrick been? What has he done for you? Because what has he changed for you? Because I just think I've been so impressed by him. And when we talked about different managers for Cardiff and who they could appoint, I really felt like he was a bit of an outsider. I didn't think he'd be the worst appointment. So, like, ultimately, it was like, did they take a risk on him? I never thought Cardiff would take a risk on him. I didn't think Cardiff would give him the money he'd want as wages, and I didn't think that Cardiff would give him the money that he'd want to bring in players. But as soon as he came into Middlesbrough, you could see he had a plan. He knew what he wanted to do, and he did it. Look, he hit the ground running. But Cardiff, as usual, and Reece, you kind of stole my thunder there with that comment. Like, so Reece has just said, to be fair, it seems a few of the clubs got their appointments spot on. Carrick to Borough, done wonders. Cabrone to West Brom. And this is it, is some teams have got their appointments right. Other teams, not so much. And Cardiff, unfortunately, they get their appointments wrong time and time again. Let's just get Rhodri. Yeah, move him there. Yellow card to Rhodri. He's had a busy day, though, so we'll let him off. How are you, my friend?
Yeah, I'm good, mate.
You just didn't want to hear the Super 6 update, did you? 38 points.
Oh, the Oaken, did I miss it?
Yeah, 38 points, mate, now. Yeah, only 38. Easy work. 2 weeks, that, isn't it? 2 weeks for you when you're getting going. Right. So I just talked about the championship, mate. Cardiff are looking dangerously in trouble, but they've been linked with Connor Wickham, mate, on a free. And I was saying it's a no risk.
Where's the Forest Green?
Yeah. So, like, I think it's Forest Green. Yeah, he's playing like non-league football. But like, here's the thing, right? Is we're not scoring any goals. We're struggling. We've got quite a young squad, and also we're going down at the moment because we can't score goals. He's not going to be on mega bucks at Forest Green, or I think it's Forest Green he's at, but he's not going to be at mega bucks where he is. So he's not going to bankrupt us, it's not like his wages are too much. So if he comes in and does nothing, they haven't really lost anything. But if they don't sign him and we still don't get the goals, it's going to feel like it was worth, it's worth the risk to me. Like, it's a no-brainer.
I watched him a couple of weeks ago and I thought, he looks too good for this level.
Well, mate, he was always a quality player. I think, if I remember correctly, I think he had a few injuries when he was younger, but he's played a lot of football over the years. It's not like he's, sort of like Phil Jones or someone like that who hasn't played for best part of, 3-4 years, really. Like, he's played a lot of football, scored goals wherever he's gone. And he's not going to have the pace to get in behind, but Cardiff got quite a young squad, especially out wide. So, if you can play off him, and because he'll hold the ball up and he's got the ability to do that sort of stuff. It just seems like a no-brainer to me, mate. They play Middlesbrough on Saturday, Cardiff do. And Middlesbrough have been superb under Michael Carrick. Michael Carrick, mate, doing a great job. I did a show, and actually I think you might have been in the comments for this show, when I talked about Cardiff's options as manager, and he was on the list. And I said, as an outsider, I thought he was a good shout. But I also said that I didn't think Cardiff would, they wouldn't they wouldn't take the risk on him. They wouldn't pay his wages. They wouldn't give him any money to spend. So, he was never going to go there. But he came into Middlesbrough. What impressed me, mate? He came into Middlesbrough. He knew exactly who he wanted as his coaches. He knew exactly who he wanted to sign. So within maybe 2 or 3 weeks of being there, he had everything in place. He had the team playing how he wanted because he went in with a plan. So he didn't just go for the job and then, I'll work it out when I get there. He knew what he wanted to do, who he wanted, and he got it done. And that doesn't suit Cardiff City, but it suits Middlesbrough. Steve Gibson, one of the best owners in the British game, in my opinion. And look, they're reaping the rewards. I think they're very likely to get at least a playoff place, mate, don't they? Still, what are you eating, mate? Come on, what are you eating?
Middlesbrough a bit. Well, when did he take over? Like third from bottom or something like that?
Yeah, third or fourth from bottom, I think they were. He's been superb, but it's the way they're playing as well. Is what I've been really impressed with me. They're up to third, mate. And they're only they're 10 points off second. Like the top two are running away with it a bit, but
I just think I think we get carried away really, really quickly. I.e. Steven Gerrard, Frank Lampard. They still need. Next year it could all go tits up. So he's doing very, very, very well. And I always like Michael Carrick, very good player. But I always get hesitant now with these new managers. Look at Frank Lampard now. How many jobs has he had? 3. Steven Gerrard. I know he's done one good job and one bad job. So he's 50-50. But Frank Lampard, where does he go from here?
I think he's got to go abroad, Frank Lampard, mate.
Yeah,
do you think?
So, like I say, Mike will touch on the subject. Michael Carrick, he's done really, really well, and he's turned them around. And like you say, he has got a very, very good chairman in Steve Gibson. Are you going to persist on that crackling all through the talking?
No, man.
And so he's and like you say, he's got him playing very, very well.
And here's the thing, right? If you're a young manager, mate, like coming in, first job, cutting your teeth, but you need an owner who's patient and is actually going to let you build something. I think Steve Gibson's probably the best owner within the British pyramid for that. Because one thing with him is unless something goes drastically wrong or there's like a big fallout, he's going to get time. He's going to get back in to what they can do in the transfer market, and he'll get time. And I just think that's why I think Middlesbrough got a great chance of going up. My heart says I really would like to see Luton Town get up this year in the playoffs because they've come so close the last couple of years. But I look at those teams around, like you got Middlesbrough third, Luton, Watford, West Brom, all 4 of those who are in the playoff places at the moment. They're all in banging form. The top 2 are just winning. But
Sheffield United, yeah.
Just talk to me a bit about Sheffield United, right, mate? So they played Wrexham, right, in the FA Cup. Everyone's talking about Wrexham, of course, because of the owners. That these guys are 2 of the most famous people in the world, outside of football, just in the world. So of course, if Wrexham have a little run in the FA Cup, they're gonna get a bit of focus, aren't they? They're gonna get the social media videos.
It's all about the stories, the FA Cup, isn't it?
Of course it is.
Yeah.
And Wrexham did exceptionally well in the first game. They probably should have held on if they could have, but they didn't. And then they've held Sheffield United right until the last injury time. The second game. Yeah. So they did very, very well. But Billy Sharp giving it the big one. I think apparently he was doing some stuff in a tunnel and he was being quite disrespectful. And so Parkinson, the Wrexham manager, sort of told him, through a TV interview, you're better than that. Show a bit of respect and stuff. I don't know. You never know what's been said and gone on. But from what he said and what has been sort of reported, it seems he was a bit annoyed by the attention that Wrexham had got in the build-up to the replay. But come on, you got to expect that now in this day and age.
I think when the dust settles, or even now, Billy would regret what he said. He's bigger than that. What do you need to worry about them for? It's National League team. Played the Premier League. He's been about, scored a lot of goals. Second in the league. He's worried about little Wrexham for.
It's weird, isn't it?
Just celebrate with your teammates. Let them know. Let them hear you celebrate in the change room. But yeah, nothing more, nothing less. Don't lower yourself to their standard. Let them have their moment because they are riding high at the minute. They have got Hollywood owners. So, Yeah, it's just
It's a weird one, isn't it?
yeah.
He was
Come on, Billy.
supposed.
Better than that kid.
Come on, Billy.
Yeah, Billy.
Supposedly he was shouting stuff at the Wrexham players.
I've actually met Billy Sharp. I met him one night out.
He's actually supposed to be someone who was telling me the other day. He's supposed to be a really sound guy. Like,
yeah, he was all right. I didn't even. He said my name, and I was like, what? And then I realised who it was. I was like drunk. It was about 2 a.m.
Party animal, isn't you? Playboy.
It was about 10 years ago.
Playboy Giggs. So Wrexham are out. Their run's over. Sheffield United march on. Like Sheffield United and their company at Burnley just look like they're going to run away with the championship, and they've easily been the best two teams. But you look at that Burnley setup. The Burnley setup is perfectly set up to go straight back up, isn't it? From the coaching staff and the manager to the squad they've assembled, everything's in place for them to just churn out the wins and just keep going. Been very impressed. One thing did make me chuckle this week was Vincent Kompany's comments on the Manchester City situation. I thought that was quite amusing. Like, he basically sort of brushed it off and said, everyone's got, what did he say? I don't know, something like you basically everyone's got secrets and all the rest of it. He just implied that sort of
Vincent, 100 breaches. I'll repeat, 100 breaches. Turn it in. A little brown envelope here and there, or someone tapping someone up. Yes. But come on, Vincent. Someone getting a different wage here and a different wage there. And come on. Not giving all the information, all the documentation.
Well,
come on, Vincent.
Manchester City went to court, not to appeal any decision or anything like that. They went to court to block the Premier League or the FA from having the documents for their investigation. Now, to me, if I'm a Man City fan and I hear that, that would worry me, because that to me says there's smoke behind the fire or whatever.
Well, that's
fire
why you pay
behind
the
smoke.
big bucks for the big barristers, don't you? They can get them kind of deals.
But on one hand, in their statement, they're saying we've done everything we can to help the FA with their investigation. But then on the other hand, they took them to court to try and block documents and stuff. So, I don't know. Do you think, or what do you think? So I had a conversation with a friend of mine yesterday. There's a precedent set for this by Juventus a couple of years back, when if you get caught breaching the financial fair play to this degree, you have your title stripped, you get relegated, the rest of it. Yeah? The precedent is set.
That means United are champions?
Twice. So Mourinho would have a title, and Fergie's last season. I think the Ollie one doesn't fall under the 4-year period where the charges are. So it's the Aguero season when he scored that last-minute goal.
All right, so Ferguson, yeah.
And then Mourinho finished second, didn't he? Which he said was his greatest achievement, which is that'll be funny. But also, and Liverpool would have 2 as well. So basically, I think that makes Liverpool and United have 2 each, basically.
Sweet.
But if the precedent's there, mate, that they get relegated and they get the title stripped for whatever period it covers, do the English FA have to follow suit to what the Italian FA did?
No.
Should they?
No.
You think it's got to be completely?
Yeah, I think
individually based.
Yeah, you can't change history. It just it just be an asterisk and
Yeah, I think if you take away the Aguero goal, it's nothing, is it?
Pardon?
If you take away that Aguero goal and give that title to United, or give Mourinho the Prem, I'm sure Mourinho would love to claim it, but it doesn't make any difference, does it?
No, even though I'm a United fan, I remember that day very, very well.
Painful.
I was coming back from Ireland, and we were actually going somewhere in a taxi. We were actually going to go home, but then we said, we'll go out. That's with Ryan Thomas. And we were coming back from Ireland, and we did a taxi, and we in the air, we heard it, Aguero goal. We went straight home. It was hanging.
Yeah, I just think, so look, in terms of the titles, I don't think they should be stripped. This people might think this is wrong. It's just my opinion. If they get found guilty, right, I don't think they should have the title stripped, because I think the players played the games, the titles were won. That's all separate to the financial side. Now, I understand that the players got bought and paid, and they wouldn't have been there if they hadn't have broken these rules and regulations. But I just think I don't see the point in going back and stripping titles and saying, 4 years ago United were champions and Liverpool were champions, and no one's going to celebrate that. No one's going to
20 points deduction, start of the season, boom.
Yeah. I think either you've got to do a massive points
£100 million fine.
Yeah. And this is the thing. Like Reece says, let's be honest, we all know the punishment will just be a few million fine. To me, unless they give him like £100 million fine, and then it just is down to whether you give them.
Mate, it's like ashtray change. So.
Yeah. But then, so in terms of the team, it's either got to be a massive point deduction to me, or they relegate them to I don't know where. I mean, you can't. I don't see the point in relegating them to the Championship, but I suppose that's what they did with Juventus. Got relegated to the second tier, didn't they? I just don't know. It's a bit of a mess. I think it's going to drag on for ages, isn't it? Because, like you say, they're going to have the best lawyers in the game.
It'll definitely drag on.
But I read somewhere that once the decision's made, they can't appeal it.
Really?
So yeah, I did read that. I'm sure I read that somewhere this week, but I don't know. But like should they be banned from a Champions League, for instance? I don't know. It's difficult, isn't it? Like, what's an appropriate punishment?
That's a separate thing, though. No, that's nothing to do with the Premier League.
I don't know. Like, but then I suppose if you get relegated, if they were to relegate them, say, to the Championship, they're not going to be in the Championship for at least 2 years, are they? They're not going to be in the Champions League for at least 2 years.
Well, that depends if they win it.
Yeah, that'd be quite amusing, wouldn't it, if they won it from the Championship?
Yeah.
And I think people forget the difference.
That's a possibility. It's a real possibility.
Well,
because
this is
doing really well in the league, and usually, you've seen teams not really doing well in the league, but somehow they win the Champions League. I.e., Chelsea, Liverpool, back in
done before.
Yeah.
And do you know what? I think people forget the difference between Manchester City and Juventus is, say Manchester City get relegated, they can financially, it doesn't make any difference to them. They've got so much money, the owners, that they can just still play.
They'd probably have a record number of points, like 120 points in the Championship.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, a couple of players might go because they don't want to drop to that level. but the majority of them.
Why would you go? You're still on you're not going to have in a contract if they get relegated. If you're Manchester City, that's not going to be a contract. Of course. So you're going to be getting paid no matter what.
Yeah, they're still going to get their wages, but they might be.
It's a year, just a year vacation, just smashing these teams. Let's have it.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. There's bound to be one or two, isn't there, who think, I don't want to play.
Yeah, there may be one or two, but
on the whole,
Haalands, the Grealishes, these people, they won't be going in there. Fodens.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, but then I can't.
Maybe. Why would Foden leave his Manchester City, beloved Manchester City team? Why would
Foden? I mean, Haaland.
$100 million for Jack Grealish.
Why wouldn't Haaland want to go play Champions League football?
Because under contract.
Yeah, but I suppose if they don't sell him, they can't.
Got like 4 or 5 year contract. How are you supposed to get all that? You can't just say what.
Borough fan says, what about if they were relegated to League Two? Does that make a difference?
Yeah, I don't think they can do that though. If they're going to do that,
the Scottish FA did it to Rangers. Oh no, Rangers went bust, didn't they?
That's never been. It's not.
And that was a new club, wasn't it?
It's either point deducted or to start again from the bottom, and that's not going to happen, is it?
No, I think with Rangers the difference was as well. The club went bust, didn't it? And then they started as a new club from the bottom.
So
that's different, isn't it?
Yeah, but in the Scottish League, there's only 2 leagues. In the English League, there's like 8.
Yeah, it's a weird one. So I was
not non-league football, like semi-pro footballers, because some of these teams in the Scottish Premier or Scottish First Division or Scottish Second Division are semi-pro. They don't train every day.
No,
I know that from personal experience when I was up there.
So I was just looking at like there's a big article on BBC about what will happen in this. So it says, what will happen to Man City? The Premier League has referred City to an independent commission over the alleged rule breaches. The proceedings of the commission, chaired by Murray Rose and KC, will be confidential, heard in private. After the commission has made its decision, an appeal can be made by separate appeals bodies within the Premier League, says the lawyer. At that point, generally speaking, that's where the process will end. It's not like the Court of Arbitration for Sport where things can escalate onto a European level. It's a Premier League matter that is going to be dealt with domestically. So basically, it's done by an independent commission, and then either side can appeal to, and that once basically, and then that's it. So yeah, it's what punishments are available.
Appeal to?
Well, the way I just read that was appeal to the Premier League, but the Premier League, the FA can't appeal to. The FA and the Premier League is two separate things, isn't it? Yeah. So I suppose, they could appeal. The FA could appeal to the Premier League, or the other way around. I don't know.
They're not going to go against each other, are they?
No, of course not. But I will go on to something which I read today about a new spin on this Super League thing, which we'll talk about in a minute. If what punishments are available if City are found guilty of the rule breaches? The potential tariffs are limitless. It could go from anything from don't do it again to a fine, points deduction, stripping of titles, even being expelled from the Premier League. In 2011, QPR escaped a point deduction, but they were fined 875 grand after being found guilty for transfer regulations. Leicester and Bournemouth received fines for breaching the rules. Last month, Italian side Juventus were docked 15 points in Serie A following an investigation into transfer dealings. There's literally no way to know what the punishment will be because it's so broad a spectrum of. Like, I guess this comes down to if they feel
my betting it'll be point deduction.
Yeah, I think so. If I was putting money on it, but I think it'll come down to if the FA
and
or
that
whoever,
still might put them out. Sorry, that still might put them out of the Champions League, mightn't it?
Yeah, absolutely might. I think a big thing if the FA or whoever Premier League is if they think they've intentionally cheated. Or if it's like they've used a loophole. So, like, for instance, Chelsea have just used a loophole in the most recent transfer window with the 8-year contracts and spreading the payments. The FA or the Premier League or the FA have now closed that loophole because United were going to supposedly use it for Garnacho's new contract, and they've kind of closed it. So, if they've used a loophole in that period, and that's like the main cause of it, that's different to cheating. In my eyes, because a loophole is a legal way of doing it, but it's the loophole in the contract.
Loopholes to be 100 breaches.
Well, yeah, this is it. 100 is a lot, isn't it? It is what it is, mate. We're not. It's going to drag on and on. I just don't see the point in stripping titles and stuff. It's gone.
I don't see that happening.
It's not the player's fault, and it's not.
No,
no other. You're not going to have like Harry Maguire going up to
then you've got to
lift the trophy from 5 years ago or something.
And then you've got to deal with is Pep going to go now? He's been lied to.
Well, he said, and that's the thumbnail for today's show. Actually, was that he basically said, if they've lied to me, I'm off ski because he's been assured that everything was done above board. So that's a big thing,
like
isn't
it? Lover, I'm off.
So let me tell you something, mate, right? If Pep suddenly becomes available in the summer, do Liverpool seriously consider getting rid of Klopp to get Pep in?
Oh, I think he'd go to, and I think he's going to go to a different place. I don't think he'd go to.
But if he feels betrayed or if he feels like they have lied to him, why wouldn't he go and do it with Liverpool?
He hasn't got the funds that he's got at places where he's been, or the players that. And it's an aging squad that I'd stay well away from Liverpool at the minute.
Yeah. How much money? I don't know how much money Liverpool have got.
Well, look at what Chelsea have spent. Are they they've spent 600 million quid, and
Newcastle,
they've still not got a striker.
No, would Newcastle be interested in Pep?
100 million quid.
Yeah, would Newcastle fancy go at Pep? Bottomless pit of money.
No, Eddie Howe is doing a fantastic job there. Newcastle.
I do agree.
He's not going. No. He's
if
very
Pep is available suddenly,
no.
I just wonder.
No, you don't understand the Newcastle fans, obviously, Si. No,
Well, I'm not about the fans,
they'd be
am I?
uproar. They'd be uproar.
I'm sure they get over it if their new manager was Pep.
Possibly, but why rock the boat? They're doing fantastic.
No, I agree.
Final,
I do agree.
And you're going to rock the boat.
I do agree. I'm just asking the question.
Got more chance of ending up in Cardiff than Newcastle.
Cardiff can't pick a manager for toffee, mate. What about Chelsea? Would they get rid of Graham Potter for Pep?
Possibly.
Yeah, they love a sacking, don't they?
Possibly, and they have the funds.
Yes. Arsenal, I think they're happy with Arteta, and I don't think actually
Arteta's firmly.
If they sacked Arteta, I don't think Pep would go there.
Fuck would they want to sack Arteta?
No, I'm just saying, like if they specifically wanted Pep,
and he's arguably the next Pep.
Yeah, I agree. Who else have we got? Tottenham.
So why are you throwing that? Them.
I just throw in the top teams, like the top sort of 5 or 6 up there, if any of them. Chelsea seems the most likely, doesn't it?
I haven't heard Tottenham's names. They're not top team, no.
They're next on my list, mate. Tottenham. They just after Brighton.
Right.
I think Chelsea would be the most likely for a Premier League club.
Yeah,
Chelsea
London
makes the most sense. Money.
London town. But no, I would if I was a betting man, it'd probably going back to Barcelona, or maybe think he tries. I'm going to go Italy. Try Italy.
PSG.
PSG.
Really be a shout,
possibly, yeah. I think he wouldn't manage another team in England though. Obviously, United.
Depends how bitter he is, doesn't it?
Secure, so. Pardon?
Yeah. It depends how bitter he is, I guess, about being lied to. If he has been lied to.
It's so important to get the right man. Look at when Steve Bruce was at Newcastle, and then Eddie Howe's coming, and more or less the same players. All right, he's got 3 or 4 in, but it's more or less the nucleus the same players, and they're 3rd in the league or 4th in the league. Eric Ten Hag come in. Oh, it's going to take 2 or 3 years to turn it around. They're in the conversation of can they win the league? All right, they probably won't, but they're in the conversation. People going, oh, that won't happen for another 2 or 3 years. All these so-called experts. So, it's just it's so important to get the right man. And if especially you've got a good team and a good owner, you can do things. It's when there's that, Newcastle, not Newcastle, Tottenham, Conte, Levy. It's always not everyone's going in the same path.
Yeah.
It's like the House of Cards. People dealings behind backs.
Yeah, so, you've got to work together, haven't you? You've got to all be pulling in the same direction. Which I think, if you look at Arsenal, you look at United, you look at Newcastle, Brighton. They're all pulling in the same direction. But
United for the last 6-7 years have been all over the place.
Yeah, of course they have.
Because they've had a clown in charge of it all, like Ed Woodward. Well, he's down the road now. There's a new guy come in. They made a mistake, last year, but obviously they wanted to wait out for Eric Ten Hag because he didn't want to come because he wanted to stay with Ajax. So I see why they did it now, but still, this is Manchester United. It's just not a good look. No. But he's here now, and he's turned it around.
Tremendous job,
and it's looking better anyway. It's looking better.
They're in all 4 competitions, mate. I don't think you can ask for much more than that.
Yeah. But there's no point in being in a competition you don't win them.
Yeah, true. But then I think, look, they haven't got the depth, I don't think, to get to go all the way in the Premier League.
No, but it would be very, very disappointing if you don't come away with 1. Well,
I think
very happy if there's 2.
I think if United finish 3rd and get 1 trophy, I think that's a tremendous season.
Oh, yeah.
If they get anything else above that, it's an unbelievable season. Especially when you look at the way Fred played last night. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that was one of the all-time worst Premier League performances. And look, I guarantee the next time he plays alongside Casemiro, he'll look fine again. For some reason, he is a different footballer when Casemiro plays.
I think that's a bit was okay. He did all right.
Yeah, I thought he did a good job, mate. But I don't think there was not much he could do.
At all. Gives the ball away too many times in
bad
areas.
Fred was awful last night, mate. Come on. He awful on every level. Shooting, passing, tackling, he was dreadful. However, I still stand by what I said even probably 18 months ago. Luke Shaw, when he's in this form, is the best left back in Europe. I will die on that hill, mate.
Yeah.
Unbelievable,
No, I agree.
unplayable.
I agree.
And do you know what I've been really impressed with Shaw, Varane, is their injury records. Little niggly injuries have gone, but they all look big and strong. And like Ten Hag came in, didn't he? And he told Varane, "I want you to do this strength and conditioning." He's getting the benefits of that now. No niggly injuries like he's had for the last few years. I thought Sabitzer looked real good, and I think when he's in a two with Casemiro, I think that strengthens United compared to, because obviously Eriksen's out for a bit. So I mean, he's
It's a bit looks a player.
2-footed as well. I was very. I thought, look, Leeds were very clever last night. They flooded the midfield. They started both halves trying to catch United cold, and they did. And what you got to understand is, a year ago, United lose that game, whereas by the end there was only one team who was going to win it. You even saw Erik Ten Hag smile when Sancho scored, which I thought was quite telling how popular Jadon Sancho is. How much, they wanted to run back to the halfway line to get the other goal, but everybody wanted to go to Sancho, and it was. I thought he was the difference actually. Sancho, when he came on, I thought Pellistri did quite well, but the one thing which was interesting is after Weghorst went off, United put in, I think, 4 or 5 good crosses into the box in the sort of 4 minutes after he went off. And he must have been sat on the bench thinking, gee, where was these crosses when I was on the pitch? Because if you put those crosses in the box when he's there, he will score goals. Yeah. But the way they're trying to play through him, he's never going to score goals.
Yeah. Looks terrible. Looks like a kangaroo on acid.
I saw a lot of United fans on social media very critical of Garnacho last night. I thought
you're going to get these performances, mate. He's 18.
Yeah, he's 18, mate. And I think he didn't do that bad. He had a couple of good chances. I thought I forget the Leeds player's name. Who was the right back who marked him?
Yeah, he's strong, he's tall, he's powerful,
very experienced,
and just needs to build himself. Garnacho just needs to build himself up a little bit. He'll be fine.
Yeah, and I think when you come up against fullbacks like that, you almost have to change your game a little bit, because he was never going to be able to go around the outside of him like he would normally do, because of the way that he was.
It's all about process, all about learning on the job, and that's what he's doing. Yeah. So once you play, you might play him if he comes up against him on the weekend for 30 minutes, probably come on and maybe a different outcome, because he's, he knows what he's about now. He knows what to do. You have to change it up. You have to wait and see.
The one thing with Ten Hag, mate, as well, is what always impressed me all season is on Sunday, the problems that you saw within that United side. So I think Rashford on the right for a start. Rashford will play on Sunday, will either be as a left winger or he'll play through the middle. He will not play on the right, because he was not very good and he didn't work. I think he'll stick with Fred, but I wouldn't be surprised if Shaw got moved into the middle and Lisandro Martinez or Lindelof play CDM on Sunday.
Yeah, you never know. McTominay might come back in.
I don't know what's the score with him. I don't know what his injury and stuff is.
Yeah, but he has played there before.
Martinez played there for Ajax.
Lindelof. I know Martinez has played, but so was Lindelof. I'd rather keep Martinez with Varane.
He's a player, Martinez, isn't he?
Oof. Yeah, he's quality.
Old school player.
Stuck his foot in that kid's mouth just by on the QT. Have a bit of that. Yeah, love it.
And also, I think as well with him is he made a tackle, like a last-ditch block in the first half. It kind of broke and he just slid. And like if he had missed that ball, it was a leg breaker and he probably would have been off. But he got the ball. It was a great block, last-ditch. I thought United were poor last night, but I thought the two centre-backs, Luke Shaw, I thought Sabitzer, I thought Rashford in the second half, and Sancho, Pellistri, I thought they all had good games. But yeah, I think you'll see a slightly different side on the weekend to United. I think I wouldn't be surprised to see Dalot get a rest if Wan-Bissaka's well enough, because he looked a bit rusty. But he's got to play, I suppose, to get up to speed. So maybe they'll give him another game. I wouldn't be surprised if Fred keeps his place, just to.
He's got legs, mate. He gets about.
Yeah, and just to give him the opportunity to put it right, because you could see when he came off at the end, he knew he'd had a bad game. But he's been good. These people, United fans, especially on social media fans, they got short memories, mate. Because like Fred's been good this year, and Garnacho's been excellent this year. They had off games, but it happens. Rashford was poor on the right. I think that shows Rashford's got to play on the left or through the middle, and I'd expect Ten Hag to correct that on the weekend. I would expect Rashford to be back on the left. And it'll either be, or he'll play through the middle.
I disagree. I didn't think this is what I thought as the game was going on. Thinking, why are they waiting? Why are they just because it's going down the left a lot, and Garnacho wasn't getting any joy, and it kept on going down the left. I was thinking after 25 minutes, why didn't they swap him and let Rashford have a go at him? But then they obviously did it at half time.
Well, they normally do, don't they? They'll switch the way there's quite throughout the game. But I was surprised. I thought Garnacho would start on the right anyway, but. Yeah, I suppose they wanted to give him his favourite position, and Rashford's a bit more experienced. Pellistri, I think I like. I like that he's an old-fashioned winger. He reminds me of like Kanchelskis or like Karol Poborski. He just wants to beat his man and put the ball in the box. He's a little bit lightweight, so when he cuts inside, he gets shunted off the ball a bit. But when he goes out the outside, the fullbacks can't live with his pace. I wouldn't be surprised to see him get a bit more game time. But I wouldn't. I think. Would you start Sancho on the weekend?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So what would your changes be from the starting lineup? What would your changes be for Sunday?
I keep the same team. Just put Sancho in instead of Garnacho.
Okay. So you play Sancho off the right or left, and Rashford off the right or left?
No, I put Sancho on the right.
Okay, and Rashford on the left. You'd keep Weghorst in there to start.
Yes. Yeah.
Begrudgingly. Would you keep?
But then you've got options off the bench. Then you've got Garnacho, you've got Alanga, you've got the kid who come on, the Uruguayan who looks very good.
Pellistri,
yeah. So you've got options. Not many options because obviously Martial's injured, Casemiro's out, Eriksen's out. So you haven't got massive options, but you've got options.
Yeah, I saw a few people.
If you got Weghorst on the bench, then you've got options to bring him on. But that's a different option. I'd rather start him because he's not going to be an impact one because he's not got the speed or the pace. Maybe he'll throw himself about a bit, but
Yeah, he's more like if you 1-0 down and you're just going to lump the ball up to him, innit? Like I saw a few people saying like, they should on Sunday they should play that Manu instead of Fred and play Rashford through the middle, and I just think that's so much.
To play that Manu, they were going to play him at home, not at Ellen Road. Ellen Road is a hostile,
real ground, isn't it?
Place, hostile, and trust me, on Sunday it'll be hostile. I've been there a couple times, and it's on one of the few grounds that my fucking head was on a swivel coming out of there. Because
that's why I think Martinez
constant Leeds fans are just not even watching the game. They're just looking at people going, you're fucking getting it when you get out. And as you come out, it's one of them sketchy places as you come out. It's loud.
Yeah. So that's why I reckon.
Grounds as well. What?
That's where I wouldn't be surprised to see Martinez in the holding midfield role with Sabitzer. They both got a bit of physicality about them, but they've also got the quality to pick a pass.
I won't want to mess with them about four.
I don't know. Luke Shaw did a tremendous job, didn't he, in centre back? And you could put Malacia on the left.
Yeah,
and because you've got Malacia who can play there, and you've also got you could put Dalot
You've got
on
a
the left,
lot of changes
and
there,
Wan-Bissaka.
Where you can just put Lindelof and keep everything as it is.
Yeah.
Why would you change 3 or 4 things when you can just do it once?
I don't think Lindelof gives you the same aggression, though, does he?
And as a coach and as a manager, you don't really want to do that, especially with your back four.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I think Fred will start anyway. I do. I think he'll give him the opportunity to put it right because he just. But then also, you don't want to go to Leeds, a hostile place. Leeds will fancy it because they've had a good game yesterday. you don't want to go there and give the ball away like Fred did yesterday. So I think they've got to take a bit more care with the ball. But I think you'll see a different United in terms of how they play on Sunday. I think their passing and movement will be much quicker and much better. But yeah, I saw so many people from different football clubs really genuinely happy that Jadon Sancho had scored. And you could see when he scored the emotion on the boy's face. He looked like he was going to, like those times where like you're so like you just want to like scream like through the emotion of it. And he just looked like he was going to almost break down in tears, like just from the sheer relief and delight of it. Kid's clearly been going through something.
Probably the hard work that he's putting. He's been working hard off site, and he's come back and he looks pretty fit. But he just needs to play him now. Play him.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought he looked real good yesterday, I've got to say. Okay, just before we do the predictions and stuff, what stood out for you from Premier League Championship over the weekend? What performances caught your eye? Do you want me to tell you some of the results, mate? Because you get old, your memory's a bit rough.
No, I was more concentrating on the rugby this weekend, to be honest.
Yeah, I forgot you're a rugby egg chaser.
Yeah, so I was more concentrating on the rugby. Bad day for Wales, but very, very good day for Scotland.
Very good. You so obviously Arsenal lost, didn't they, on the weekend?
Yeah.
So Man City were like, oh yes, here's our chance. Here we go. As predicted,
it was a good game that Tottenham, and can't believe they've not scored in 4 games there. So
as predicted by you, mate, when we did our predictions last week, you said you fancied Tottenham. Unfortunately, you didn't do it on your predictions, but there we go. Such a life.
What an idiot.
Everton, mate. What do we make of their first game under a new manager, Sean Dyche? Got something out of them, didn't he?
Standard.
They will finish.
They will finish in the top half of the table.
No,
guaranteed.
Come on, mate. How many games left?
I'm telling you.
Oh, yeah. You're all right. 20 games left,
They will finish in the top half of the table. They're like 8 points from like mid-table.
They're 10 points off 11th. So, yeah. But do you know what? It's weird this year, isn't it? Right? Because of the World Cup, it feels like we're deeper into the season than what we are. There's still 20 games left. 19 games left.
He's got better squad than he has at Burnley, so you'll get better results.
Yeah, Everton got a fantastic squad because they had money to spend. I don't know why they struggled so much over the last few years. And it makes you question the manager, mate. But I do. You got to not just Lampard, the manager before struggled with them as well, of course. But with those players, you shouldn't be down the bottom. But there we go. They are. But then obviously, so Everton get the result. Man City fans rubbing their hands together, thinking, yeah, here we go. Arsenal are bottling it. And Man City, yet again, couldn't score at Tottenham. Where's Tottenham's ceiling this year, do you think? This season? 4th?
Yeah, because he gets results in, doesn't he?
Conte, he just grinds them out, did he? But they've got a shambles in them as well, haven't they? Like they really have got like a bad performance in them. It's just whether they can grind out that sort of enough points.
There's just been bad starters and then really good finishers, but sometimes they'll just leave it too late.
So the top 4 as it is now is Arsenal, City, United, Newcastle. And then you've got Tottenham and Brighton, both absolutely banging form, who are behind them. And then obviously you've got Brentford, you've got Fulham, Chelsea and Liverpool down in 9th and 10th. I do not know what is going on at Liverpool. I think that's a massive issue for them because like they've lost 3 of the last 4 games Liverpool have in the Premier League. And they lost in the Cup as well. So
it's great.
Like, it is, I'd love to see it, mate. But in terms of football analysis, like how much pressure is Klopp under, do you think? In terms of losing his job?
I don't think. Well, mind you,
he is a bit, mate.
Yeah, he's got. as a coach, this is why Alex Ferguson didn't get so much credit. He could identify when these teams are going to be dipping and, bring in the adequate players to just keep it rolling. And Klopp's not done that, especially with the midfield. He's been asleep on that, and it's aging. It's slow. It's not powerful anymore. Look at when, like 3 or 4 years ago, you had Wijnaldum, Henderson. And who was the other one? Someone else, but they were all. Maybe I don't
Keita.
No, it was like 4 years ago, and they just
should have identified it then.
They just haven't renewed. Well, at least last year or the year before, you've got to keep on top of it, especially in midfield. Like Jordan Henderson's been a very good servant for him, but he's not as young as he used to be. Doesn't get around the pitches as well as he used to do. And you've got Thiago, small, not the greatest, still a very, very good footballer, don't get me wrong. You've got Harvey Elliott, very good footballer, but not the strongest. Who else? The Keita, 4'2". So,
well, he was going to be the saviour, I think, wasn't he? Naby Keita, and he just has not really. I don't know whether it's a fitness thing or what. He just hasn't really got going for Liverpool. But I don't know where they go from here, mate, because they don't seem to have the money to buy the players they need. Like they genuinely need 2 midfielders at least, probably a striker. Who was it? I said to you in text, he looked like a pub centre back. Oh, what was it? Matip. Oh my good God, mate! Honestly, right? He was just giving the ball away. He was like, there was one point he received the ball from the fullback, and it's him, and he's facing his own goal, and he's got either a ball across the box to the other centre back or back to the keeper, and the striker's pressing him, and he just kind of doesn't do anything. He just holds the ball until the striker comes, takes it off him, and nearly scores. And it's just like, what's going on? Like, a couple of years ago, he was at least decent, and he just looks dreadful. It's a confidence thing, I get, but I don't know. I wonder where Klopp's going from here, because he looks like he's struggling. Like you see in his interviews and stuff, like he doesn't look like he knows what's next or how to go about what's next, if that makes sense. But yeah, as I said.
To be honest with you, do you want me to give you the honest truth? I don't care.
Yeah, you're just enjoying the season, mate, aren't you?
Yeah.
Newcastle going to stay in the top 4, do you reckon?
No.
You think they'll miss out just you?
Yeah.
Is that because of their
I think
depth?
they'll finish 5th.
That because of their depth, do you reckon, or Conte?
I just think Chelsea or Tottenham will sneak it, yeah.
Chelsea are going to have to build some momentum because they've lost 3 of the last 4 in the league as well.
They once they get on a run, though, they'll get on a run, but maybe not. Maybe Tottenham will sneak in, but I hope Newcastle do, but I just don't see it.
Yeah, I'd love to see Brighton or Newcastle get that 4th Champions League spot, just to, freshen it up a little bit or whatever. But and then last thing before we talk our predictions for the weekend. Manchester United heavily linked with the Qatari royal family today, or over the last couple of days. Would you be happy with that, mate?
Yes. I prefer the Sir Jim. Yeah. But I prefer that. I prefer him, to be honest.
It's one of them, innit? Like, everyone gives Man City grief for the human rights and this, that, and the other. And, I get it. But, like, also, when it comes to your club and you need new owners, like, I would take bloody anyone at Cardiff at the moment who's going to spend a bit of cash. You kind of lose that. I don't know what the word is, but, like, it is what it is, isn't it? Football fans are fickle. Right, let's do our predictions to finish off. If anyone's got any questions, obviously drop them in the chat or the comments or whatever, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Let's have a look at these predictions, mate. You got 38 points to make up, mate. So come on, you've got to get these right now. First game is Arsenal at home to Brentford. I've gone 2-1 to Arsenal. Brentford are on good form, though. They've won 4 of their last 5. Unbeaten in 6. Arsenal. Brentford are unbeaten in 6. Wow.
Where's it at, Brentford?
Arsenal. Yeah. It's a tricky one.
2-1 Arsenal.
Yeah, that's what I said. Leicester versus Spurs at Leicester. I've gone 1-1 to Leicester. Both teams unbeaten in 3.
3-2 Tottenham.
Interesting. I 1-1 for me. Palace at home to Brighton.
Brighton 2-0.
I gone 1-0 Brighton, but they're on fire. Palace struggling at the moment. Bournemouth at home to Newcastle. Newcastle United.
I'm going to go Bournemouth 1-0.
Interesting. I've gone 2-1 to Newcastle because Bournemouth have lost 4 of their last 5.
Bournemouth, Eddie Howe back there. Yeah, no Bournemouth 1-0.
Okay. Leeds at home to United straight away after yesterday's game. United will be keen to put stuff right.
3-1 Man United.
Yeah, I gone 3-1 United. I fancy them to. They're going to want to put that right from last night, I'd imagine. And then finally, Manchester City at home to Aston Villa. They need to get going. City do. 3-1 City. I've gone, but Villa got they've won 2 of the last 3. Bit of a comeback.
Say that again. What's the last one?
City home to Villa.
City home to Villa. 3-0. City.
I went 3-1. So yeah, that's it. There we go. As always, guys, do check out Violent Money. Use the code Ace Nation, or of course, Four Sigmatic Coffee. Support the sponsors. Helps us out a lot. As always, mate, appreciate your time. I know you've been a busy boy today.
You know what? I feel just what it is. Coming to half term, I feel knackered and it's finished tomorrow for a week. It's just today. It was one of them days where you just don't want to get up.
Just looking forward to the break now.
Just I'm knackered all day. Pardon?
Just looking forward to the break now.
Literally can't keep my eyes open.
That's the way, mate. How's your venture into football coaching going?
Yeah, it's all right. With how many games have I been involved in now? 4. We won the first game. What score was the first game? 3-0. Second game 7-0. Oh, was it the first game 3-0? No, the first game 7-0. The second game 3-0. The third game we got beat 3-0. Was it 3-1? And then we drew against second in the league on Saturday, 1-1. Yeah.
Wow. What league are they playing?
What league are they playing? Northwest Counties.
Northwest Counties.
Yeah.
What team is it?
Darwin. I think we're 7th or 8th.
Let's have a look. So you've made the difference then, is that what you're saying to me?
No. They've already got a pretty set team. We're just helping out. Just bit of experience, just helping out.
Northwest Counties. Let's have a look at this league table. What team did you say he's called?
Darwin FC.
Oh, I must be looking at the wrong league because they're not even on there.
Well, there's a few leagues in Northwest Counties. There's a Premier, the North and South.
Okay, that'll be it. That's the Premier Division. So what is your First Division North?
Yeah.
There they are. Darwin FC, 8th. Oh, are you still pushing for playoffs, mate?
Yeah.
Or not?
Yeah, still got a chance.
30.
Got 12 off. How many games got left? Like 13 or 14 games left. So, yeah.
11 points behind the playoffs, but plenty of games to go.
And with the 10, there've been 10 games, 1 defeat. So, yeah.
in form, mate, is the
In
thing.
10,
Isn't
in
it?
10 games, only lost one. Yeah, and that was last week. So
There we are.
But-
All good, mate. Like to see it. Keep us informed.
Yeah.
Right. We'll see you next week, but I'll speak to you on the weekend. UFC John Jones fight coming soon, mate.
yeah, and Ultimate Fighter,
Yeah, Conor
McGregor, and there's another one as well. What's the other one? Volkanovski, Makhachev. Have you seen that? Have you watched that Nelt Boys in Russia with Hezbollah?
No, I haven't. No.
Oh, watch it, mate. It's funny. It's
I
funny.
will have a look at that now.
Yeah, do you know the Nelt Boys that Happy Dad? Yeah. Well, they go to they train with Makachev. They have him training with him. It's funny. It's funny. Watch it. It's only like 20 minutes, 25 minutes.
Yeah, I'll have a look at that. I might have a look at that now when I do the boys' lunches.
Right,
we got a big game on Saturday, but if we win if the boys win their next 5 games, they'll win the league. So we're tense now. It's getting real tense.
Nice one.
Yeah. Come on, the boys.
Yeah.
I'm like the ultra on the side, me. Barley up. Giving it the big one to the ref. Nice one. See you later.
Not that.